recording. Socialism is not an either-or proposition. It's a matter of degree. To either have a high degree of socialism, medium degree, lower degree, there are varying degrees. It's not an either-or proposition. However, the president doesn't seem to understand that. He seems to think either they're going to be a socialist country or completely a free market capitalist society. That's not how it works in the United States. We have various degrees of socialist programs. Medicare, Social Security are both socialist programs that most Republican politicians vow to protect. So that implies that they support socialism. Any politician that vows to protect Social Security and Medicare are socialists. So that's a good thing. So if socialism is good for those things, and other programs that protect the worker and the environment and the consumer, those are all socialist programs. And without them, we'd be vulnerable to the power and might of the capitalist tyrants of the world, of the country. So we need socialism to protect the people from those tyrants. Also, the other false choice that Donald Trump makes is he seems to think we need to choose between socialism and freedom, when he doesn't understand that socialism brings freedom through the freedom of economic security. Economic freedom is freedom. If people have a higher minimum wage, they're going to be more free because they'll have more money to spend. If somebody is, however, saddled by a massive student debt, they are less free due to that debt. So if we were to forgive that debt, they would be more free, not less free. And we can avoid that tyranny of the weight of the giant student loan on the college graduates of the future by making free public college an option. A very socialist program that would help the economic freedom of millions of college graduates. So it's just the opposite of what the president is implying. By implying that by adopting freedom, by adopting socialism, we will be losing our freedoms. No, by adopting more socialism, we will be gaining economic freedom. Thereby, we'll be improving the state of freedom from the tyranny of capitalism. Now, there's still going to be these existing capitalism, but we need to keep capitalists on a very tight leash, or they will take an inch. If we give them an inch, they will take 10 miles. They've shown that through the history. They will open sweatshops, chain workers to factories, equipment, and run company towns where people are effectively unable to leave because they cannot afford to leave. So we need socialism and maintain the freedom of this country and the people of this country. Mm-hmm.
Here in the United States, we are alarmed by the new calls to adopt socialism in our country.
When he says we, meaning we are alarmed by people saying they want to adopt socialism, is the we him and his cronies, wealthy cronies that are afraid of not being able to accumulate unlimited amounts of wealth, selfishly and greedily? Is that who he's talking about? Because yes, that might be the result of socialism. These greedy capitalists, selfish, do not care about anybody but themselves, may not be able to continue to hoard money in such a massive fashion, living lives of filthy, rich luxury, if some of these socialist programs were to be implemented. They may not be able to have these giant yachts that start to resemble ocean liners, their own private ocean liner. That may become a thing of the past if some of these socialist programs were to be implemented. But, of course, that's nothing for the common folk of this country to be alarmed about. So yeah, maybe these plutocrats, these real rich, wealthy, filthy rich people, the billionaires, they might have something to be alarmed about if they really want to have unlimited hoarding of wealth. That's a possibility. I'll grant that. But there's nothing for the remainder of 99.99% of the population to be alarmed about by the adoption of socialism. After all, there's the things that protect our freedom is not free market capitalism, so-called free market capitalism. What protects our freedom is the Bill of Rights. And there's no program being suggested by the socialist Democrats that would in any way reduce or limit our rights under the Bill of Rights of the United States Constitution. It could even go farther to the left, as I have suggested. I think the government should take on industry, that is, own the means of production of industry. Increasing, if that was to happen, that would in no way reduce our liberties as guaranteed under the Bill of Rights. That is not what, owning the means of production is not what caused the tyranny of the old Soviet Union. The tyranny of the Soviet Union was a result of a number of factors. Most importantly, they didn't have a Bill of Rights there to protect their freedoms. And also they happened to be under the rule of a megalomaniac sociopath by the name of Joseph Stalin. But we do have a Bill of Rights, which protect us from any potential tyrants. So that even if we did have a megalomaniac sociopath like Stalin that happened to become president, it shouldn't matter as long as we maintain our rights, which is very important. As long as we maintain the Bill of Rights, our protections, other protections that are guaranteed under each state's constitution, then we should be fine. But in no way are the socialist programs being suggested in any way compromise those guaranteed freedoms under the Constitution. Mm-hmm.
America was founded on liberty and independence, and not government coercion, domination, and control. We are born free, and we will stay free. Tonight, we renew our resolve that America will never be a socialist country.
So it's important not to confuse control and oversight over the big business, and the capitalists, the greedy capitalists, with control and oversight over the individual citizens. I think there's a deliberate attempt there to try to confuse the two. Most aspects of socialism that require government intrusion is not intrusion into the private lives of the citizens and their choices. The intrusion is going to be on the capitalists who are trying to exploit and take advantage of workers, of the consumer, and the environment. I don't think a lot of citizens are going to have a problem with that kind of intrusion. People are going to be still get to live their lives the way they want. The citizens, it's the capitalists that are being ordered to behave themselves. That's what socialism is about. Socialism is not about the modern, contemporary, democratic socialist form of socialism. It's not about telling the citizens how to live their lives. It's about telling the capitalist owners to behave themselves and treat people decently. That's what today's socialism is all about. People are they're going to be able to live their lives the way, however the heck they want to. The control, the oversight, any intrusion and orders to act a certain way, it's going to be orders on businesses, not the private citizens. That needs to be made clear. I think there's a deliberate attempt by the wealthy elite capitalists to try to confuse the two. Two are different. Modern socialists do not want to control the lives of individual citizens, their private lives, their public lives. It's all about reining in those capitalists who, if those plutocratic wealthy elites are given an opportunity, they'll gobble up the society and spit them out. All they care about is satisfying their greed and lust for endless wealth and power. The only way to measure that is with a strong central government.